got Shaw like the kind of like the number one KOL for crypto AI now, because since his project is like 700 or 600 or 700 million market cap, and he's straight up just putting his reputation on the line to destroy yours.
People are going to be mad about what we're doing, bro. Everybody's trying to profit off this tech. Everybody's trying to like make money. Everybody's trying to get like rich. People are going to do like nasty things, like try and fuck other people over. But the whole thesis of Swarms is that we should be working together with people. Like we shouldn't like this is not a competition. Okay. Everybody's trying to make this seem like it's a competition in some way, and they're just trying to fight. Like this guy's obviously just trying to fight for like no reason. And he's also saying our code doesn't work, but he hasn't given us a clear example of our code not working. I mean, if there is an error, I'll fix it pretty quick. Do not be mistaken. But yeah. If we just, dude, there is so much speculation.
Yeah, there is.
Like right now, like just chill, build an agent, just try building an agent and like share it. That's it.
I have. That's why I'm chilling. That's what. But see, I think 99% of the people who are buying the token, they have no idea about what is good tech and what is not, and they don't know how to code. Like most of them don't know how to code. They don't know how to build an agent. So they can only listen to whatever these other guys say on Twitter, and then use that, and then so they're selling at a loss because they can't really understand what the tech is.
Yeah, that is a considerable problem.
Like you don't care if he's trying to like come at your reputation, but he's hurting the people who believe in this project. He's hurting their bags, or he's hurting like he's damaging their
you cannot. Okay, so first of all, you cannot take someone serious if they don't even publish their real name online. Like if someone is publishing a fake name, like that's obviously not his name. If someone doesn't have the real name and their real identity online, and they're actually willing to stick up for their word, it doesn't, like, their claims are not valid.
I mean, Shaw is doxxed though, so he's gone on.
That's not his name. That's not his actual name.
Yeah. It's not his name, but
that's just a persona. Right. Look at me. Look, do you see my name? What's my name? Kai Gomez. You understand? That's me. I'm not hiding. I'm here. Even though I'm tired as hell, I haven't eaten anything. I've been pushing updates, working on infrastructure, and I've just been working hard. All the people that like just chill out with the hype, chill out with the speculation. I would say just do your research, look at the tech, look at what we've built, and try it out for yourself. That's really like the only way you can actually see if this is valuable. Just listening to what other people say blindly without making any form of informed decision is not a good way to invest money.
I know that's the degen nature of crypto,
Yeah, and I could see like people want to make money, but like as I mentioned last night, the only way to make money is by providing value to other people. That's it. You can't make money talking shit. Okay, like that's not how capitalism works.
Yeah, I mean, end of day, like AI16Z, right? What the fuck does a token actually do? It's part of like it's a vote on the DAO, but the DAO holds a bunch of shit coins that are pretty much worthless. So it's really just a meme on top of it, like wrapped around a DAO. But it's at 700 million market cap because that's a speculation game that's in this AI crypto space.
Yeah. I mean, we have our marketplace, you know, this is like we've already built out like most of the like the infrastructure for everything. Like this is
Yeah,
not like it's not like we're starting to build this stuff now. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. Most of these people
yeah,
that you're seeing are like have not been in AI for let alone like 2 years. You know,
bro.
they're just
That
trying to
I
profit
saw
off of people.
he was in a fucking rug project 2 years ago, called Webaverse, and like I mean, some one founder took all the money, but apparently he was the lead dev on that, but he wasn't responsible apparently. Um, so yeah, I get what you're saying. Like there's a lot of actors that all of a sudden came to this space because there was money to be made, and it's tough. I think, Kai, like you're like obviously on the AI side mostly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you almost need like the comm side of communication side for the crypto, like just to manage the community, just to manage the PR, all that stuff. Because so you can focus on the dev work, because it will distract you like so much, because there's all these people, there's all the scammers, right? That's one thing. And then there's all the FUD that comes from people trying to like bring you down in order to like bring themselves up. um yeah, there's good people in this project. I think like if you allow a group of good people to come together and then kind of help manage that side of things, I think you can focus on the tech and stuff, and I think it'd be pretty successful.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. You know, I'm new to this. Like, I haven't been in crypto for years. Before that, I love Solana, and I was a big holder of Solana. But like, the market's changed dramatically since then, and there's been a lot of bad things happen, and like just a lot of speculation. But in our case, we're trying to actually back what we're doing with actual value. It's not like as I mentioned before, we're not the coin. We didn't start by building a coin and then building the tech. We built the tech first and then we launched the coin, and we're going to be iterating on that and building an entire economy out of that. A lot of these people, like it's insane, like they just make coins and they're trying to profit. And I understand, like people want to make money, but um we're building something long term here. If you just look at our GitHub, I mean, we've been doing this for years. We haven't been doing this in the past like couple of months or like the past week. Some projects will just spin up in a week and launch a coin and build some horrible product and make money. But we're here to actually create value.
Yeah, like one indicator I use is, was the project being worked on before the GOAT token? Because the GOAT token was kind of like the oh shit moment for crypto AI memes. And then so if you guys have been working for like a year, like I've seen commits and all stuff in 2023 before that, and then you guys were working before GOAT token got launched.
I
And
don't
then
even
the
know what
GOAT,
that is, bro. I don't know what goat
oh,
is.
that's crazy, because the GOAT token from Truth Terminal, like Andy.
Truth Terminal. Oh, I heard about that.
Okay,
I honestly do not think Truth Terminal is an agent. It's probably just a human masquerading as an agent. If there is no GitHub repo for something, it's probably not real. You can't actually trust something if there's no code or GitHub for that.
I think it's pretty like established with Andy. Like he's very trustworthy in the AI circles, as well as so he's admitted. So like basically, like it is a wrapper on one of the models, right? And then so what he does approve the tweets before they go out, but That's for Truth Terminal.
Yeah, that sounds like it's manually written to me. Well, I don't know. I don't want to talk, bad about another person's projects. That's not the thesis of Swarms. Our thesis is that we should be as open to working with anybody, even if they're talking shit about us. Um, but I mean, I would love to see a GitHub. If there's a GitHub that shows like all the like tool usage and things like that, like you can actually verify that like you could do this on your own. Is it reproducible? That's essentially what matters. But if something is not reproducible and not open source, then I mean, like it's not really trustworthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, yeah, if there is a GitHub, I'd love to see it. But as I said, I don't want to, talk shit. That's not what we do here at Swarms.
Understood. So would you be open to like having, some of the experienced, members that are more level-headed, that can come together and kind of like help provide more of like a community on the crypto side, and act kind of like as a PR thing so that you aren't pulled in like a million different directions all day?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll be super down with that. We're probably gonna need all the help we can get. So I mean, yeah, I'm totally open to that.
Mhm. I sent you a DM. I gave you kind of like what my protocol works on. So just so you know I'm not a fucking scammer or some shit, because anybody could be, right? So if you just take a look, my protocol is not like some tiny protocol. I mean, it's multi-million right now, and it has some big investors that have put money into it. So I'm not here to fucking show my shit. I'm just providing that so that I'm not a fucking scammer or something.
No, I totally understand.
But yeah, like after looking at your work, and one of the things, like I'm not an AI dev, but I've been a dev for a long time, like 15 years. And so I one of the things I do when I look at projects or like meme coin projects or in the AI spaces, I look for like, you know, whether it's like verifiable that like, the tech is real. And so early on, I looked at your stuff. I watched your videos. I watched you live last night, and I'm pretty convinced that this is some of the best tech that's out there. Um, but many other people don't know that because they're not devs. They can't go into the code. They can't look at the history of commits. They can't even look at the Solscan transactions and make sense of it. So they think you're launching like 5 different tokens. Um, so I think it'd be very helpful once we get together like a community of like invested community members, and we can kind of like help with the narrative on that end.
Yeah, 100%. There's still a lot to learn. Like as I mentioned, I don't know everything. But something I do know is that if you're trying to learn fast and you're willing to learn fast, then you can make things happen pretty easily. And we like moving very fast. So our goal is to just move as fast as we can, and try and make as much progress as we can in the short term and long term. In regards with like the actual functionality of the tech. And the price of the coin is strongly associated with the value of the tech. Like without good tech, then like it's mostly useless. But we're trying to work on that. We're trying to make it more reliable every day. There might be some issues. There's always issues. But the only thing that matters is how fast can you solve those issues. How fast are you moving? That's honestly the only thing that really matters.
So I'm sure that you're gonna explain it in the white paper when you release it. But what's like for the existing marketplace that you guys have built, like, is it the intention is to allow the agents to have a way to do commerce with each other, or is it a way for humans to monetize the agents that they build?
Both.
See.
Both of them, my friend. So you'll be able to buy agents with the Swarms token, and you could also you'll be able to buy your own agents, and you could pay for the usage for those agents. Because most of the agent interactions are micro transactions. So our goal is to essentially you could pay for the agent usage with your Swarms token. And you'll also be able to launch tokens for your specific agents or swarms. And then you can monetize them as you wish. And they could just basically be working 24/7, earning income for you fully autonomously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll explain that much deeper when the white paper comes out. So that'll be coming out quite soon. We have been working on it for some time now. We were thinking my co-founder was thinking about how we could use crypto last year for AI, but we really didn't have a fundamental we didn't have as much as a community as we needed to actually do this. And so now we believe now is the perfect time to do this. And we have we've iterated on the Swarms framework literally thousands of times, 3,300 times, give or take. So we have a lot of plans, and all those plans will roughly correlate into achieving our mission, which is essentially bringing in trillions of agents into the global workforce and increasing total human GDP by quite a substantial margin.
Yeah, that's very understandable, because the cost of running agents and swarms is exponentially getting cheaper, and its ability is getting exponentially better. So the combination of that just seems that we are on a path to some crazy explosion in terms of productivity.
Yeah, and hopefully we can be the people that make that simple to use and reliable and also secure. So that's our goals.
Hey, could you touch a little bit on Plinny's contribution to the repo, and what relationship you have with him, and
yeah. So Plinny was he was essentially one of the first people at the company. He was one of our co-founders, and yeah, he was essentially with us for some time, and now he's essentially trying to do a lot of red teaming stuff, and so that I think red teaming is a pretty big problem that people need to solve, because if your agents are hackable, then that could lead to billions of dollars in losses. And so yeah, essentially red teaming is a pretty big problem right now.
Yeah, just we saw just a few times where just agent projects that were running, and then there's a bounty to prompt hack some of the agents, and then yes, someone cracked it within a few minutes, and then they were launching tokens and stuff, which caused quite a stir.
Yeah, people in the chat right now are saying someone is saying get Shaw on the call for the live stream. owning him live would be best to clear any baseless feud. I don't think he would do that. Even if he did come, like he wouldn't really have anything to say. It's just baseless claims fueled by envy and greed and jealousy.
Why do you think? Why do you think those FUD posts, like specifically the content of those, right? Why do you think those have been circulating for? Because the I get that the old Reddit post was about like some paper that didn't have any code, and you wrote some code to test it, right? Could you expand more about that? Because that it kind of is like a source of like what everyone's saying, that you're copying like other people's code.
I mean, I didn't copy any code. There was no code to begin with at all. I basically implemented the paper. I implemented their research paper, tried to make it open source. It blew up very fast. It was training on GitHub for like, I think, a month and a half. And then, well, the authors like didn't have any code, and then they published their repo like 2-3 weeks after they published the paper. And then they saw my repo was blowing up because you could actually use it. And they got mad, and then they started just talking shit. And so that's typically like what happens with like elite academics. They basically like, if you try and implement their paper.
Just gonna grab packages.
What was that? Did someone say something?
Someone just wasn't muted.
Oh. But yeah, bro, I basically open source papers that don't have any code. And some people don't like that because they want to keep things closed and secretive, and they're basically just elites. They just want to like profit, and they don't want to contribute. They don't want to share. And I'm trying to solve that problem.
What was your background like? I mean, you've been coding since a very early young age. Like, what got you into coding? What were you doing before building swarms?
That's a very good question. So I've been programming for quite some time. I started programming because I really just wanted to hack Call of Duty. So I wanted to build aimbots in Call of Duty, and I essentially just started building a bunch of aimbots. And then I had this thought. I was like, why would you have one aimbot when you can have a team of them? And so I figured out how to build a kind of like a swarm of aimbots, and they would be tasked to work together and eliminate the other team. And that's kind of how I got started with multi-agent collaboration. And yeah, essentially I got my start in games. I just really like, I was upset with some games, and I wanted to manipulate them. Like GTA 5, like me and my friends would like hack GTA 5 servers and like give ourselves like billions upon billions of dollars. And that was super fun. That's essentially how I got started programming. After that, my first startup was a marketing data analytics firm. We essentially helped like direct to consumer brands automate their marketing supply chain with a time series model. So they would essentially predict like what would be the best time to show someone an ad given their previous purchasing history. And so that's kind of like that was kind of like my first actual startup that did reasonably well. And after that, I started Agora, and I was just implementing research papers for a very long time until we decided to make Swarms an actual company near March of this year. And that's when we like actually decided to take this serious, because before that, it was just kind of like a research project. It wasn't really like an actual company, but the company started this March or February.
It's incorporated in like California or like incorporated in the US?
What was that?
So it's a company incorporated in the US.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so like this March we're like, okay, we could actually, have a company of this. Like we had a decent amount of users. We had like 200K downloads on the pit package, and we're like, what, let's turn this into a company. Now we could have grown much faster. Honestly, we could have grown much faster if I made more YouTube videos. I feel like YouTube is an amazing way to educate people on how to use this tech. And so I feel like we definitely could have grown much faster if we just focused on like teaching people how to actually use the framework. Because we were just like heads down building the actual functionality, and we didn't really take the time to educate users on how to actually, build swarms and agents and how do you make them better. And that was a pretty bad mistake.
I see.
So yeah, if we did that, we probably would have been much bigger right now. Much bigger.
Did you guys go to seek funding? How have you guys stayed afloat in terms of income and stuff?
So we have a decent amount of investors, but as I mentioned last night, I've been funding a decent amount of the company for a time, and also Agora. Well, most of my money went into Agora, funding like GPU compute and things like that. But we have investors now, and hopefully we can like continue growing and raise like a pretty good seed round. We're going to be raising our pre-seed pretty soon, or a seed, and from there we'll just keep growing and growing and growing until one day we inevitably control the world economy, and agents are in mass abundance.
Do you have any like public angel investors that is shareable?
Yeah, so Sir Yield a lot is an investor, and also Base Capital on Twitter. They're both like they're kind of like one of our few crypto investors, or they do crypto themselves. But before that, most of our investors are not in crypto.
Was it their recommendation to launch a token?
No, it was my idea originally, and they were trying to help, but things blew up completely out of proportion, very quickly. Like none of this was supposed to happen until Monday. Monday was actually supposed to be like the actual launch day. The white paper was going to be done. I was going to have a video. Everything was just going to be complete, and but somehow people figured out about it and blew it up. And so yeah,
it's pretty interesting that and you decided, hey, like the community adopted it, fuck it, we're gonna go with this test token. And even though the original tokenomics was going to be a bit different, so are you kind of like re-evaluating how to make the ecosystem work with like less supply owned by the team?
We're still calculating our strategies on how best to do this, but we're probably going to be buying a lot of tokens ourselves, to a point where it's like pretty good for the team. And we also want to log a certain number of tokens for agent rewards. So it'll essentially be like a fully automated like reward system where like you can provide feedback on the agent, and if the agent has a certain rating, the holder of the agent will get compensated in Swarms tokens. And so we're also going to have, if you know the answer to an agent, we're going to integrate our evaluation framework, which is called eval ops. And so if you know the output of the agent, it's like a quantitative answer, like exactly what it is, you can evaluate the agent to see like if that's actually going to be the output. Like you can have the framework essentially autonomously eval, and then if that runs, we'll essentially distribute tokens to the people that have good agents and that are providing value to others. The whole goal of the economy is to incentivize people to build really, really good agents and essentially reward them for building good agents that participate in the economy really well.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so we're still calculating things, but nothing is changing. This is the definitive coin, and yeah, we're not leaving.
So as like the people who are supporting, like basically they believe in what you've built so far, and they believe in your ability to build, in the future. So they've bought into the token, and what can they do that will best help you and your team to grow the project?
Support the GitHubs. Try building your own agent. If there's an error, like let us know, please, and we'll fix it up. Support the GitHub. Try building your own agents. Share your own agents on the marketplace, which is swarms.world. And yeah, that's definitely the best way to help right now. And especially helping the GitHub. Helping the GitHub helps a lot because that's fundamentally like where the utility and the actual value is essentially located in. That is kind of like the backbone of the economic network that we're trying to build. So all the value is tied in like the functionality of the actual framework and how good it is. So if you want to help, if you want to contribute, if you find any issues, let us know. Just build your agents, share them, share your experience, honestly, truthfully, and provide us feedback, and we'll fix those any issues or add any new features that you want.
Hey, Kai. Sorry to interrupt, Counter. You used to have a at Agora AI in your Twitter bio, and it recently got suspended. So I assume that's why you took it out of your bio.
Yes. Okay. So that's a very unfortunate experience that we had. So there was a community member in Agora who was he was essentially doing research with us, and he made the Twitter, and he kind of like scammed us for GPU compute. And he essentially like tried build like we were basically giving compute so he can train his models, because that's what we do. Like if you have an interesting project and you want to train your own AI model, we will give you compute. So this guy like took compute and he made the Twitter for Agora. There was no Twitter before that, and he took it down. And I made a thread about the whole situation. It's just very depressing.
So there's currently like no like Agora Twitter that I can follow.
No, as of now, it's down.
Okay. Do you plan to make a token for Agora?
No, not at all. There is an Agora website. I mean, that's it. And our GitHub, and yeah, no token, nothing.
All right. Well, thank you for answering.
Yeah,
Swarms is the focus right now.
So for all the listeners, and just to get a basic rundown, like, so what is what's the difference between Swarms and Agora, and then like the entity, the company that you guys launched in March?
So Agora as of now has no corporate structure. Mm-hmm. It's basically just a GitHub, a Discord, and a website. We were thinking about how like we can make it into a nonprofit of some kind, but by then Swarms was already doing too well, and we never got to that. We just never got to doing that, and so yeah, they're like Agora has no formal incorporation. It's not like an entity. Swarms
I see.
is an actual entity, however.
What was the mission of Agora versus I think Swarms is a little bit more clear, but what's the difference between like their missions or like what was the purpose of them?
I could show you. Let me show you. Give me just a sec. Dude, I'm so tired. I slept like 3 hours, man.
Brother, like
I
that's
literally,
every day here.
I literally could not sleep because people were dozens of people were calling me, saying they were all buying Swarms. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I haven't. Dude, I have not slept, and I also have not eaten. I've just been answering people's questions, concerns, literally since I waken up at like 7 in the morning. It's absurd.
That's why you need a fucking community team.
Welcome to crypto.
Yeah, man, this shit is crazy.
TerraStack is a really good friend of mine, and he's a whale. He's but he's just been in crypto for a long time, and he's a really good guy. So
yeah. Okay. So the difference between Agora and Swarms is that and I could actually so Agora's purpose is to train all new foundation models. Swarms is taking already pre-trained models like Claude, Cohere, and then agentifying them. So like Agora is kind of like on the lowest level that you can get in terms of AI development. We're essentially trying to create like entirely novel foundation models, and we implement them from research papers. So an implementation that we did recently was from Mamba or Mamba 2. And so for those that don't know, Mamba is a competitor to Transformers and the GPT architecture. And generally speaking, Mambas are like much more like memory efficient, and they could also process longer windows. So they could process longer, like more tokens, more input. So we've done a lot of stuff with Mamba. We how many Mamba things have I worked on? Yeah, we worked on a lot of models for Mamba. This kind of multi-model Mamba, which is this repo right here. So this blew up on Twitter when I originally posted that we were building this. Basically, it's like Mamba, but but it can understand text, it can understand images, it can understand videos, and we're essentially like trying to create a model that can understand every type of data. And so the difference between Agora and Swarms is that Swarms, as of now, is not training any like foundation models. We might maybe in the future using some of these models that Agorians and Agora has developed, and then put them on an API for people to use them and also make them open source. But yeah, that's kind of like the fundamental distinction. Agora is just really focused on like super low level research, like creating model architectures that are better than Transformers by at least like 50x in terms of memory usage, context windows, and just general accuracy and reasoning capability. So yeah, there is a fundamental distinction between the two. But the reason why you're here now is because we were thinking about making a Swarms Discord, but there was already so many people in the Agora Discord. There was already like 6,000 people when we decided to make Swarms a company. And yeah, that's kind of like we just kept working in the Agora Discord because leaving would have been a waste of time. Like making another Discord where we can just have everything in one place.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So you guys were like, if Agora like was a way in which you can train models from the ground up, how do these compete with like frontier type models?
The goal is that they would be better than frontier models in every way.
Really?
But
Wow.
yeah, I mean we weren't trying to do research that other people have done before. Like we want to do new things. We want to build new models, test them, evaluate them. But to do that, you would need a lot of money. So we didn't figure out the $1 billion for training, um, model training part yet. So um, if we decide to pursue Agora like commercially much more in the future, then we will need like an adequate amount of funding to train all these models that we built and evaluate them. And then swarms can also use them, because if you have a model, like imagine you could process like 20 million words in like zero point 0.1 seconds for like less than like 10 cents. No model right now can do that, but that is ideally a feature or a capability that one of our models could have, and that's what we're trying to build. But as I mentioned before, you need a lot of compute. You need a pretty good team, and I mean we have the team, but like we're still missing out on like millions of dollars of funding. um, and so yeah, we're just keep building models. And now, so like mostly on the Agora side, we work with organizations that train those models. So I work with AWS quite extensively, Amazon, even Anthropic, and they train the models that we have put out open source. We just don't have the capabilities to train them ourselves, which is funny. But yeah, if you know AI and you know how to build models and you check out some of the models we built, there's no like refutation that like our models are good, um, because they're the best. We just need more compute to train them and make them open source.
Do you have a list or reference to some of these models?
Yes, I mean there's a lot of them, man. If you go to my GitHub, you can filter by the number of stars, and then you can see like the most popular ones. But then there's just literally hundreds. Um, there's a lot. So I would suggest just go to my GitHub or go to the Agora GitHub, and you can see all the different models that we built.
And you said some of these models were trained by Anthropic themselves.
Yep.
Very cool.
And a bunch of other companies use them. So essentially, like how you would use the models that we made, they're not already pre-trained. You would have to train them yourself. And so the only people that can really do that are people that have the team and have the resources for that. So most of the people that are training the models are mostly like pretty big organizations, which is how we initially founded the Swarm's initial user base. Most of our users are banks and medical platforms. And these people initially, we started working with these people initially because they were already using our models from Agora, and that's kind of how we kickstarted the whole like Swarm adoption. There's a lot of cool people in this Discord, and most of our users, we met most of our big users from this Discord, and I'm here literally all the time. Literally yesterday, before like 4 or 5 or 6 or something, there was it was just literally me, like in the Discord. Now there's like 10, and there's literally thousands of people on Twitter, which is just absurd. Because honestly, yesterday I never thought any of this would happen. We didn't even believe the launch like on Monday, even if it went well, would like this many people be involved. We thought it was going to take a lot more time, but I guess God had other plans.
Crypto has a way of rallying a community very, very fast. Their incentives really drive community.
Yeah, 100%. Especially economic incentive.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to go eat soon. I still haven't eaten anything today. I've just been answering dozens upon dozens of questions, and yeah, I'm kind of running low on fuel here, but I'm still here for you guys.
You're a legend, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Kai, get something to eat and get something to sleep. Go get some sleep.
Yeah, bro.
Take care of yourself.
And I were listening to you yesterday, and she doesn't understand half of the shit, and she was just saying like, "Fuck, this guy sounds clever as well."
Yeah, bro. It's
Especially when you were talking about your medical AI stuff for like coming up with diagnoses and things. That was blowing our minds.
dude, agents in healthcare is going to be insane. I mean, it's going to literally like drop the cost of healthcare by like 90%. I honestly think like medical healthcare agents are just going to change everything, because, well, first, to get a diagnosis by an x-ray, they need like 10 years of experience. That means they're probably making like 200K a year. And to calculate like how much are they being paid an hour, an agent is probably like 1/1000th of that cost, maybe even like 1/10,000th of that cost. So if you have agents in healthcare and they're reliable and good enough, they will drop the price of healthcare down to a minimum, and hopefully then healthcare can hopefully be more accessible by the average person, especially in America. America's healthcare system is completely, I mean, it's completely fucked. It's like it's really bad, especially.
Yeah, so I'm a doctor actually.
Really?
And yeah. Well, I'm an anesthesiologist. I do interventional pain, counter nose. So interesting enough, like you're looking at kind of like diagnostic radiology, definitely a very easy place to make huge gains and moves, because you can train these large language models and neural nets on recognition, and it's very easy to go about it. And you said 200K for radiologists. That's low. That's they make like 400, 500K.
Shit.
So humans are very expensive, but actually one of the biggest costs in the United States for healthcare in general is administrative. And so that would be great if agents were able to remove a lot of the grifting and kind of like you were saying, right? You even mentioned like the academicians get kind of pissed off when you take their research papers and implement them, right? So that's kind of where you're coming from, right? You're saying, well, this should be open and free, and I have the paper, I have the know-how, and I'm going to code and do it, right? But they won't like that, right? Because they want to get credit for it.
Yeah, it's I would love your thoughts on like what precise like administrative like tasks people do on a regular basis, so we can try and build swarms for them.
Oh, oh, absolutely. We can certainly chat about it later. I think it's I mean, a lot of what they do. I would say this: there are people. They're like boots on the ground, people that actually see patients all the time. But then there's this giant administrative overhead, and I think that's a lot of what is at issue with a lot of what's going on in the United States in terms of a lot of administrative overhead. People that really are not productive, they don't take care of patients, and they just get enormous paychecks. And they just administrate. All they do is administrate and tell people what to do. So, ideally, the people that are actually taking care of patients are helped by the agents, but hopefully the agents get rid of a lot of the higher leadership and kind of like the grifting and the kind of sorry, lost my train of thought.
Logistical nightmare, I think you were gonna say.
It is. It's a logistical nightmare. It's just kind of the way it's just kind of the way the system is set up right now.
Yeah, we need to build agents for those types of applications. I think that could like probably drive the cost down of like the average like unit of healthcare for Americans by quite a bit. We would just need to know like what problems need to be solved and like what is the best swarm architecture to do that. But if you have like any ideas like on specific tasks that could help with that, I'd love to understand like the business problem or what those humans are doing in the administrative process, and then kind of like reverse engineer the process with agents. That's essentially how we build swarms now. You look at a business problem and then you reverse engineer how humans do this and how humans talk to each other, and then you essentially just you put agents, and then you essentially try to like simulate the process. But yeah, I totally agree
Food for
with you.
thought. I'll have to think about that a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, if you could send me some.
But yeah, I
use
would love to
cases-
chat some more.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, but get something to eat. Take care of yourself. I'm a medical doctor. You got to take care of yourself. You're young, but you still need sleep. You still need nutrition.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You're not an agent. You're not an AI agent. You don't work on pure compute.
Hopefully one day. One day, man.
Maybe.
That might happen with Neuralink. We might just have like billions of agents running in our heads. But it might happen in other ways too.
It's very dystopian.
Maybe, but you'll never be alone because
I guess not.
Humans are, some humans are greedy, selfish, like Shaw. And then agents are nice and friendly and they work with you. There's no agents just don't cause any problems. They're just friendly. I wish humans were a little bit less emotionally bad. Like they were less like angry and jealous all the time, because that's quite like a decent source of all the world's problems, either stem from jealousy or greed or selfishness. And agents don't have any of those qualities because they don't have any emotions. I guess maybe they could have happiness.
Not for now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that this is kind of off topic, I guess, but not really. I mean, we're talking about kind of like consciousness, and do you believe there will be an AGI or even an ASI within the next few years, 5-10 years?
I mean,
if you just throw more compute at it.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think Claude is AGI. Claude can do like.
Oh yeah.
Claude can build better code than any human being on the planet, guaranteed. Especially if you know how to prompt it. If you don't know how to prompt it, it's going to be horrible for you, and you're probably going to get mad. But prompting is the key here. If you know how to prompt, Claude can build anything. I honestly don't care what it is. It could literally be any software app, somewhat within technological boundaries. And so like I think Claude is AGI. It's not. So I think what most people want is a general like agent system. It could send emails. It could look at your emails. It could, buy coins. It could do anything. And that I would define that as a generally intelligent agent or a generally capable agent. I wouldn't necessarily deem that as AGI, because AGI is only capable of reasoning. It wouldn't have the ability of actually executing tools, which is very important. So and ASI. So ASI, I mean, it's still singular. Like you still only have one artificial super intelligence. That's still only one model. I I honestly believe that having multiple agents will always be better than one super smart one. And there's been a whole lot of research on this topic, especially. So I honestly think like having just multiple agents working together is much better than ASI. Um, especially if you have like some, some slightly um, like some slightly dumber model, and you just have multiple of them. Like there are some cases where Llama 3 has outperformed a ChatGPT on a couple of benchmarks, and you just have multiple of them working together. And I suggest you check out. We've made a list of research papers, and like multi-agent research papers, and there's so many cool ones. And generally speaking, from what I've seen, multi-agent systems are better than individual agents, like massive, like just like ChatGPT, in probably every task distribution. And like, what does that mean though? It essentially means like lower hallucination, higher accuracy. You can do many things at a time. If you only have one AI, you can only do one thing at a time. Okay, you cannot do like 50 things at once, and that's because of just the architecture of how the models work. When like GPT, Transformers, Claude, like these models will generate one token at a time, so you can literally only do one thing at a time. It can do 50 things at a time. And so I honestly I think like AGI, ASI, like some people are throwing this word around like some cocaine, but I honestly think like swarms and multi-agent collaboration is much better than both of them, which is why I'm
just from like a compute and just even from like saving compute to do the same task.
Yes. And also in terms of accuracy, in some cases, having like a bunch of llamas, which are much dumber than ChatGPT, if they can work together, they will almost always outperform GPT-4. And so like in terms of memory, like running a bunch of llamas is much cheaper memory usage than ChatGPT. And it's cheaper, it's smarter, more accurate, less hallucination, and it could do many things at once.
What do you think about the new? What do you think about the new NVIDIA kind of edge compute units that they just kind of came out with that can run like earlier large language models like 3.2 or something?
There was a video that Jensen, he made a video about their new chip. I think it looks pretty cool. It's pretty cheap. It's like $250.
Yeah.
But I think the application is mostly for robotics. But I think like maybe you should just buy one and try it out and see like what you could do with it. But that's mostly for like running AI models like locally, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I did see a really cool video of a person that had received it in the in the mail, and he had kind of begun playing and toying with it, and kind of had one of the LM models running on it locally, and it was actually doing a pretty decent job, considering that it runs on 15 watts. And then it was actually really good at being able to identify certain kind of different objects on a camera, essentially, locally, without going to the cloud.
That's interesting.
Might be worth checking out since you're so into it. I think that'd be like the kind of those edge compute cases, like you were saying, with the computers and maybe video cameras and maybe small language models.
Yeah, I think that like you could probably put like millions of them in a decently sized factory or data center. So I'll be interested to see like how many of those could you put together, because they're super cheap and they're pretty good. They're better than like a gaming GPU, like a 4090 or something. So I'll be very interested to see like how can you scale those up and create like a swarm of models running on device, like at your home or data center somehow. But yeah.
All right. Well, I've taken enough of your time. Thank you so much for the enlightening and illuminating chat.
No, thank you, brother. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for keep building. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get some food. But I'll be back soon. I won't be gone for too long. There's still a lot of work we need to do. So
Definitely.
stay tuned.